Hey, good morning. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. I have about 20-some tabs opened here this morning. I hope my computer does not freeze up. You can get in touch with us at chief@fetchernews.com, chief@fetchernews.com, 706-889-9700, or you can follow us on Twitter at FetcherNews, at FYNTV. So that's chief@fetchernews.com. Now, let's get this out of the way. Yes, it seems to be the lead in every single, now you're gonna turn it up where I can hear it, Sam. It needs to be, it's the lead in every single newscast. Now, when is the last time you had your ass drugged down the aisle of an airplane?
The stream is orange.
It just went orange?
And it stopped over here on Fetcher News.
Did it stop?
On CityLink it is. I don't know if it is everywhere, but I'm waiting to see if it's going to turn back red. But it doesn't look like it's going to. It's just solid orange. It's not doing anything.
Reset. That's the only thing you know to do. Just start from the beginning, relax.
It's not letting me do anything. It's frozen right now. Maybe it's thinking. I'm starting to believe your theory about someone hitting a button.
One thing that's interesting, it's always around 8 o'clock.
Okay, hang on, we're back up. It's good.
It turned red?
It turned back red.
Okay. We're back. All right. So we're back here. It turned back, our stream turned back red. We had a little glitch there in the system. Okay. Have you, let me ask you a question. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get it started. Okay. This is the top news piece of every station this morning. So when is the last time you had your ass drugged down the aisle of an airplane? I'm sorry to put it that way. When's the last time your carpet burns meant you were getting drugged down the center aisle? You know, they could have at least offered the guy some peanuts. Would you like some peanuts? Sam, we've all seen this, but let's play this video and turn it up for me, okay, so I can hear it. United flight.
Can't the pilots drive the water? Can't they run a car with the pilots and can't drive?
Hey, come on. Come on.
No, this is wrong. Oh my God! Look at what you did to him! Oh my God!
I have to go home. 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 Kill me. Just kill me. Kill me. Just kill me.
So you've seen all the social media posts. I mean, I tell you, this is blown up. United Airlines, this may be a problem. Now, it was just a couple weeks ago where, you know, they didn't want the ladies in spandex to get on board a United flight. Remember the spandex, they didn't want them on there. Leggings or whatever, okay? So they didn't want the ladies to wear the leggings. And they prevented them from boarding a United flight. And now this guy, it's overbooked. Now here's what I understand, okay? They have a crew. This is all I understand. They have a crew that is flying from Chicago, is it to Louisville? And so instead of taking their own crew off, they needed 4 seats. It's overbooked. They asked for people. Now, I have seen planes overbooked and they start asking people to wait for the next flight. And, you know, and they start anteing up some first class tickets, some air miles and stuff like that. And usually they can find a couple people that will wait to the next flight. But, you know, this discussion came out yesterday of if there's 100, you sell 100. So I never did quite understand the overbooked plane concept. I never did understand overbooking a plane, but that's just me. But this guy, he was drug off this plane yesterday in Chicago, claims to be a doctor, claims to have patients he needed to see this morning. What say you about this guy? What do you think? Have you ever been drug off? I had to say, like, you ever been drug off the plane? Get off the plane. We're going to drag you off. So they're accommodating him. They're accommodating him. They're going to put him on another flight. Wow. Okay, so please excuse us this morning. So that starts the day off quite interesting. All right. This guy drug off this plane. A couple things we're going to look at today. At 8:30, Carla's going to be in here. It'll be time for Carla's Corner. A couple things we're going to look at today. It is government shutdown time, April 28th. So your congressman, your senator, they're back home saying hello to the family, making their rounds in the neighborhood and getting ready for the Easter weekend. But they will only have, I think, about 4 to 5 days of debate when they get back in town to avoid the government shutdown. The wall, we're looking at the wall. I have said this, okay? I have said this on the show recently. If not the President of the United States, here's something we got to understand on the health care and we got to understand on the wall. Donald Trump will not get the blame. The American people see that he is making every effort to keep his promises. Because on a daily basis, there's 1 or 2 more promises that he has the authority to make happen that he follows through with. So the wall and Obamacare will be blamed on Congress. They will get the blame. If there's not the funding, okay, we watch the funding. I will tell you this, let's not, you know, if we start looking at where we waste money, and if they start saying we don't have the money to fund this border security wall, okay, that's a problem for Congress. If you do not build the wall, it will, and you do not fund it, it will be 10 times worse than don't read my lips, no new taxes with George H. Bush. Watch and see. So the wall will, there'll be Planned Parenthood funding will be in this discussion. Watch and see. The wall. And so we're going to see what happens on the 28th, but that's coming right down the pike. Obviously, we're a country that likes to operate in chaos. I told you yesterday, all right, at 9 o'clock, we're going to get back into a little bit of Syria. Now, I think for some of you yesterday, I did a show yesterday that is in the archives. And we're going to pull it out when necessary. And I just said there's some things that are left to question, all right? And I tried to paint the whole picture of some things going on within the Trump White House that leads to Israel, that leads to Syria, that possibly some things could be tied. Possibly. Now, here is a statement this morning from the Secretary of State we'll dig a little deeper into, all right, in just a minute. Rex Tillerson says it is clear. The Secretary of State leaves the G7 meeting. And Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says, it is clear to all of us, it is clear to all of us that the reign of the Assad family is coming to an end. Now put the Assad family up. Here's the Mr. Damn and the whole damn family, okay? Right there they are. That is Assad's whole family. They have controlled through generations. What is his name? What is his name again? It's Havas Assad. Whatever his dad, I forget his name. All right, but that is Assad's dad there, and the mom, and brothers and sister. The Assad family has had control of Syria for years, absolutely for years. Now they hate Israel. All right. Well, you say, well, wait a minute. We're talking about Russia. We're talking about chemical weapons. We're talking about Assad using them on. What's Israel have to do with it? They hate Israel, and they hate Israel. They want the Golan Heights back. They lost it in the 6-Day War in the 60s, right? Is it the 6-Day War? They lost the Golan Heights. Syria did. They want it back. They hate Israel. So you are looking at Iran, Russia. Russia they do not like Israel. Okay? Just saying. Just saying. So the comment Tillerson made as he's headed to meet with his Russian counterpart, it is clear to all of us that the reign of the Assad family is coming to an end. Are we going to get into regime change? Are we? What do we have planned for Syria? I mean, I'm okay with his statement. I mean, not saying in a supportive kind of way, but even in a sentence, don't you think that's pretty bold that they're coming to an end? Now, I will say this, whether you like it or not, the Assad family has kept this area kind of under control. They have under control, no doubt, for many years. What kind of vacuum are we going to create again? Is it possible? But the question of how that ends and the transition itself could be very important in our view to the durability, the stability inside of a unified Syria. What the hell? I mean, I just talked about this yesterday. I mean, there may be the impression that for 2 hours yesterday, I sounded anti-Trump, and I am not. I'm the furthest thing away from anti-Trump. I'm just looking at some things here in Syria that, yes, let's be clear, Obama made a mess. Let's be clear, Arab Spring. Let's be clear of what happened in Libya. We see Muammar Gaddafi, which had those people under control. I'm not saying. All I know is the dictator world with Libya, Syria, and a couple of these dictators. I don't know. It just didn't seem like the world was on, a breaking point. So, what are we actually doing? Is it time to come out and have somebody tell us what our policy is? Now, I will have to say, Tillerson is going to Russia right now. He is getting ready to meet with his counterpart. But let's read this just one more time. It is clear to all of us that the reign of the Assad family, there they are. Put his dad and him up. That's Assad's dad, and he was the king. Let's see, I think he died in 2000. It is clear to us the reign of the family is over, but the question of how that ends and the transition itself could be very important in our view of the durability and stability inside the unified Syria. So, what happens here? are we advocating regime change in Syria? Just mark today on your calendar what I'm telling you. And Syria hates Israel. Put that together with yesterday. Now, Rex Tillerson is headed up to meet, what's his name again? Sergei, is that, what's how many pictures I sent you over there? Yeah. Put him up there. Sergio, Tillerson faces tough talks in Moscow amid increased tensions. United States, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson to visit Moscow this week, and he will be meeting with Sergei, I can't pronounce his last name. I forget it. What's his last name? Why don't you try it? Anyhow, but I wonder if Tillerson has this in the briefcase. Now, all right, Sergio here is, I wonder if Tillerson is taking any gifts, any tokens of friendship from the United States. You know, would it be like, what's that? Like something that would reset. Isn't there a picture over there? Something that would be like a reset. Oh, yeah. That would be Hillary Clinton and Sergio with the reset button. Remember the reset button? That's the famous reset button. All right. So we wonder if Tillerson is taking a reset button to Syria upon his visit. So it is clear the Assad family has to go, and it's close to over. Now, another one, we are getting ready, something is getting ready to happen in a big fashion in North Korea. And remember was it last week or a week and a half ago? It hasn't been over a week ago that I did a segment on the 24 years of failed policy in North Korea, and Donald Trump has to solve it in the first 100 days. Okay? Remember we did that just about a week ago. We went through 6 Secretary of States. From the Secretary of State, we went from the Secretary of State for Bill Clinton, 2 of them, Warren Christopher, see if I can do it from memory, Warren Christopher, and then we went from Warren Christopher to Madeleine Albright, and then we have George Bush, and we went to Colin Powell, and then we went to Condoleezza Rice for George Bush, and then we went to Barack Obama, and went to Hillary Clinton, and went to John Kerry, okay? 6 Secretary of States, 24 failed years. Now, for those of you, I am a little confused, and I'm trying to piece some things together in Syria. Obviously, a gas attack took place. Donald Trump said, no, we won't tolerate a gas attack. This could be the best move in his presidency to show he's a man of resolve. He's solid. He makes a decision. He's going to do what he says, and you're not going to just do things in the international world and get away with it. I do not think it takes away of his America first. I don't think it takes away. But the Syria and some of the comments coming out of the UN with Nikki Haley and some of the comments coming out with Rex Tillerson, a little confused by Syria. I'd be the first to say I'm trying to watch where's this going, what's the game plan here, and how do they plan to negotiate this with Russia, all right? On the other hand, North Korea, I have no confusion on this whatsoever, okay? This one, studied for quite some time. We all know the Chinese could solve this immediately. We hope that the talks with the president of China resulted in something that is going to be positive, but it does not seem the little fat guy, what's his name, the guy that's the dictator over there in North Korea. Kim Jong-un? Oh, okay, wow. It does not seem that the Chinese are, I think the Chinese are getting ready to take their refugees. You have to understand, when we see, this is a very guarded country, and no outsiders come in. So when you and I get pictures, video, or anything behind the curtain there of North Korea, it's exactly what they want us to see. At no time do we see the starvation and the poor people out in the country. At no time do we see that. China is preparing, my understanding, for about 150,000 refugees immediately to come across, refugees immediately to start pouring across their border at any time. Just understand. North Korea vows catastrophic consequences over U.S. carrier dispatch. I want to say, regardless of what the President of the United States does, if this is not what he, North Korea, we did to 24 years. I guess what I'm saying, let me see what I want to say here. Folks, his oath of office is to defend you and I. I mean, the president has to defend this country from foreign and domestic enemies. And let me tell you something right now. We can keep sitting here and wait for this guy to hit Hawaii. You remember, I don't know, there was something leads me to believe that happened once. Let this guy hit Hawaii with a nuclear weapon. Let this guy hit the West Coast. Let this guy hit Seattle. Now, I made fun of it the other day. You got your people out there in Seattle. They're drinking their coffee in their Starbucks, and they're, wearing their dreadlocks, and they got their man bun, and they got their lattes and a little extra cream and all that stuff on their coffee. Well, guess what? This little guy is ready to send a nuclear warhead at you at any time, and he keeps threatening. So Donald Trump has a choice. Take this guy out or risk you, the American people. I will tell you now, I have to support the president in whatever he feels necessary to do here. Now, we have North Korea is ready to attack us at any time. So we have sent, and they're not very happy about it. We've sent the USS. What's that ship I have up there?
The Carl Vinson Battle Group.
Yeah, that's the USS Carl Vinson Battle Group, and this is what's got North Korea all upset. We turn this fleet around. That's the USS Carl Vinson, and it's headed towards Korea there. I guess it's in the South China Sea, all right? But it's headed that way. So we're only maybe days away from something in North Korea happening. So hopefully China went home. Hopefully China will be able to do something. But I have to say, it looks as though, we're going to have to deal with North Korea. Folks, Sergei Lavrov, or whatever his name is, Tillerson's headed there today to Russia. He is not, our Secretary of State does not have a scheduled meeting, with Vladimir Putin. Okay, Russia must choose between Assad and the U.S. Okay, U.S. Secretary Rex Tillerson issued an ultimatum to Russia on Tuesday. Side with the U.S. and like-minded countries on Syria, or embrace Iran, militant group Hezbollah, and embattled Syria leader Bashar Assad. Okay? So we are giving Russia an ultimatum. You got a choice. You could side with us, or you could side with Iran and Hezbollah and Syria leader Bashar, or, I don't know, regime change. I'm not for sure. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. It is Easter week here. We're going to be taking a brief break, and then it's going to be time for Carla's Corner. When we come back, I want to talk about two races, okay? There are two congressional races that have Republicans a little nervous, one more than others. We're going to talk about that. And also, you remember that healthcare thing, like when I told, wasn't it just 2 weeks ago when I said, let's see if I have it here. After the health care bill, remember I came out and I said the Republicans own it now? I said that. I said the Republicans own it, all right? This is an article we'll look at a little later from the Associated Press. This was dated yesterday, or April 11th. GOP owns health care. Owns healthcare dilemma now, and voter skepticism. I said that right after. I said GOP owns it. They own it now. You can forget Obamacare. That's over. GOP owns the healthcare issues. I'm your host, BKP. When we return, it's going to be time for Carla's Corner, and then from 9 to 10, we're going to break down a whole list of these stories that we've started this morning. Oh, there's a new governor in Alabama. We'll tell you about that. Because I think the other governor, I don't know. Was he out kissing girls he shouldn't have been? I don't know. We'll talk. I'm just saying. Just saying. He had to resign. We'll talk about it after this. At 9 o'clock, Carla's Corner coming up right now. Take us a break, Sam.